Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be looking at this 12 volt UPS board. And basically I found this after a cleanup of all my electronic equipment that I have picked up from AliExpress and haven't even had a chance to open and test. So the idea behind this is you populate it with two 3.7 or 3.6 volt lithium ion batteries, and it will supply 12 volts on output. And it charges via USB-C 5 volt or any other 5 volt power supply you give it. When that input power supply fails or gets cut off, your batteries will still provide the 12 volt output. So this is perfect for devices such as your modem or router, which you need to keep on, and it will keep it on for a little bit of time, given the capacity of your 18650s. And we are going to test this out and play with it. So before I go any further, let's have a look at the AliExpress page. So here is the AliExpress page. Type-C 15 watts, 3 amps, 18650, lithium battery charger module, DC-DC step up, booster fast charge, UPS power supply, converter 5, 9 and 12 volts. Very popular. Look at how many has been sold. Very popular board. You can get it in 5, 9 and 12 volts. I got the 12 volt version. 5 volt version might be handy for like Raspberry Pis. So yeah, $4.39. It's a bargain. They're all about the same price. So this product is suitable for power outage equipment without power outage application. Oh, that's lost in translation there. Basically, the power is cut to the input. You'll still have output power given by the 18650 lithium ion cells. We have a light for the output working, and I believe there's a charging light indicating whether the batteries are full or still charging. Yeah, 2-color charging state, full of green light, automatic stop charging. Okay, so there's the dimensions. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now, this is a bare board, okay? If we have a look here, it's just a bare board. You don't want to be sitting it on top of those capacitors. So we are now going to print a case for it because we don't want it to be standing or sitting on those capacitors and risk shorting the board, which I have done before with other devices. So you can look on printables, MakerWorld, Thingiverse. I found this on MakerWorld, and it looks like it's pretty simple to print out, and it's cool because it's got a 12 volt sign on there. So I'll download the files here and I'll show you how to import it. So I have a Creality printer, so I use Creality Print. We'll add the two items. There we go. Load as single object, multiple parts. No, onto individual parts. So they're currently stacked on each other. So I'll select the lid and there we go, move it over. Now I want to arrange all the objects. Arrange, there we go. And the 3D printer starts printing from the bottom, obviously. And we need to orient this the other way because if we start printing here, it's going to start printing in the air for that side. So I'll select that object and I will go... How do I get away from this? Lay on face. So I want to lay it on this side. There we go. And I'm printing this in a special type of PLA. Oops, how do I change it to the other mode? Yeah, select. Oh, not add. Let's change the filament. Right click. Where's the filament? Change filament. I'm using eSun PLA, and everything else should be defaults. It's a pretty simple print. Where is that? Change filament. Okay, and then I go down here, slice plate, and I save the file and I put it on my SD card. So I'll loop you in after that. So here is my 3D printer. It's the Creality Ender 3 V3 SE. That's a mouthful. I got it at a really awesome price, for like $250 at JCar. It was a run-out model. It is a very simple model, but I like Creality because they don't lock you into anything. There's so many parts available online, which I have replaced a lot of stuff in here already, which I didn't get around to documenting because I was frustrated. But yeah, it's a workhorse. It just works well. And oh, look over here. I'm getting distracted, but I have an enclosure for it, which I picked up on Marketplace for the great price of $0. Someone just wanted it to go to a good home. As you can see, I've got no room in here. This is all going into the shed when it gets built. So what we're going to do is turn on the printer, and we're going to load the filament into there, extrude so it flows first, and it will go from there. 1 second while I load it. Okay, it's loaded in there. I push this back and feed it through. And now I have to go into here to prepare extrude. Basically, it heats up and then it pulls the filament down through the nozzle. You get a little ball of goop there. You can just put it in here, which I printed. So while that is happening, I take the SD card out and I'll put the G-code file onto here. So by the time that's finished extruding, we'll be ready. So as you can see here, that's the heat, that's the temperature of the nozzle. It's going to get to 240 degrees. Then it's going to say press here to extrude. I put the SD card back in there now. So come on. Okay, confirm. And we'll see it extruding. Can you see that? Okay, now we go back, print, and there's the file. I've named it eSun PLA 2 hours and 23 minutes. Hopefully, I have enough filament in there to do that. 15 meters, 15.36 meters, 2 hours and 21 minutes according to the machine. And then we just wait for it to be done. Just an update on the print, it seems to be going well. Starting to take shape. How long have we got? We've got about 34 minutes to go. It's been running for an hour and a half. 71% complete. Alright, the 3D print is finished. Here's the cover. And I've got myself, I think these are M3 screws. I think most PCBs have the M3 screws, so it fits in that hole there. And I also have a DC 55 21mm jack, which goes into this hole here. So I have an output for my 12 volt. Of course, you can use whatever you like, but this had a built-in hole for that. And I just solder on the wires. And from memory, the shorter one is the positive line and the longer one is the negative. But obviously, do a continuity check on the pin and figure out which one is which. Center pin is most often going to be positive. So I'll do all that. I got to put the batteries in here because once that goes in, we don't have access to it until we unscrew it. So I'll put some batteries in there and wire it all in, put the cover on, and we'll go from there. Okay, it was a bit of a tight squeeze, but I got it in, but it's quite secure even without screws. And there's the 5521 jack. I can't even put the screw nut thing over the top because it's too close to the floor here. But it screws right in and it won't move. It's fine. So I wired up positive and negative, and if I put in my little voltmeter here, we see the output, which is 12.5 volts. So it is working. There's no on-off switch here. So as soon as you have the batteries in, it's always on 12 volts. So I'll put the cover on the top now and I'll loop you back in. There we go, the screws are in and it's perfect. There's the USB-C 5 volt input. There's the output and 12.5 volts. That is pretty cool. Now we'll do a test. I'll work out what test I'm going to do and I'll show you. I already have the perfect test for this UPS. which is the voltmeter. That is my load. I've attached it to a 5-volt power supply. It's drawing 2 watts. It is charging as indicated by here. When I unplug it, the voltmeter should stay on. There we go, it stays on. Now I'll leave it in there and I'll let you know what happens when it's fully charged, just so we know what happens. I assume this will go blue or green when it's fully charged. So when the batteries are fully charged, the blue light comes on. And when it's charging, it's red. So the runtime of this really depends on your load and the 18650s you put in there. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.